Marked by a tyrant after transmigrating. Chapter 31. After sending off the imperial physician, Jin Wang returned to his bedchamber alone. Yeshu was leaning against the couch, reading a book. Hearing the sound of footsteps, Yeshu raised his eyes and glanced at him, then coldly retracted his gaze. He still hasn't calmed down. Jin Wang, who didn't know what he had done wrong, was speechless. An Omega's mood changes erratically during pregnancy. This emperor must not get angry. This emperor must coax him. Jin Wang repeated this mantra countless times in his heart. He walked over to Yeshu and sat down beside him. "Ashu, you must be tired today. Go take a bath first, then rest early." "I'm not going." Yeshu turned his back to him and even wrapped himself in the blanket, making himself look like a white furry ball. Jin Wang continued to coax him patiently. "You caught a cold today. You must take a bath to dispel the cold. Otherwise, you will get sick tomorrow." Yeshu was silent for a moment. He threw the book in his hand onto the couch and opened his arms. "Then carry me there." Jin Wang. When did this person become so good at ordering this emperor around? This is too much. Jin Wang was already a little depressed with the imperial physician's nagging, but now he suddenly felt angry. "Walk on your own." Yeshu decisively said, "Then I won't go." The two of them, one sitting and one standing, looked at each other for a moment. Jin Wang. Carry. He is this emperor's Omega. He is pregnant with this emperor's child. This emperor must coax him. Jin Wang carried him to the side chamber. Under Jin Wang's instructions, the bathing pool was already filled with herbs to dispel the cold. The temperature of the water was higher than usual, and the room was filled with steam. When the servants saw that His Majesty had personally carried the imperial concubine, they all calmly bowed in greeting. Even the servants were already used to this. Jin Wang dismissed his servants and placed Yeshu beside the bathing pool. Just as he was about to leave, he suddenly stopped in his tracks. Yeshu looked at him suspiciously. "Why hasn't your Majesty left yet?" Jin Wang cleared his throat and said calmly, "Zhen want to be with you today." Yeshu. Jin Wang reflected on his actions over the past few days and finally felt that it was inappropriate. He had overindulged the man. This person wasn't trying to ride on this emperor's head, he was already having fun on this emperor's head. This won't do. His Majesty decided to get back at him. Jin Wang said, "Today, you will serve me as Zhen bathe." Yeshu narrowed his eyes. Jin Wang met Yeshu's gaze and added in a low voice, "My hand is injured, so it's inconvenient." Yeshu. Oh. His reasoning was irrefutable. Anyways, he had bathed with Jin Wang more than once, so there was nothing to be shy about. Yeshu didn't say anything else. He took off his coat and went into the water. A moment later, the water beside him rippled, and Jin Wang sat beside him. The bathing pool carved from white jade was big enough to accommodate a few more people. The two of them sat side by side on one side of the pool, their faces blurry from the steam coming off from the water. Jin Wang's injured hand rested on the edge of the pool. Yeshu scooped some water and helped him wash his hair. For a while, only the sound of water could be heard in the bathing chamber. But gradually, it was Jin Wang who couldn't hold himself back anymore. He grabbed Yeshu's hand and his ears reddened imperceptibly. "Don't come any closer." Yeshu said innocently, "Didn't your Majesty ask me to serve?" "I didn't ask you to spread so much pheromones." Jin Wang felt the air in the bathing pool become thinner and thinner, and even breathing became difficult. If this continued, something bad would happen. Jin Wang got up to leave but Yeshu grabbed him. "Where is your Majesty going?" "Zhen is done." Jin Wang's palms were very warm from the water, and the places where their skin touched were so hot that they almost burned. Jin Wang's ears immediately turned red. "Zhen is going out to get some fresh air." As Jin Wang said this, he hastily got up, wiped himself dry and ran off. Yeshu burst out laughing. He really was an idiot. Yeshu took a deep breath and smelled the green plum blossom scent lingering in the air. He had been learning how to control his pheromones for the past few days, and although he still hadn't mastered it well, it wasn't difficult to release a little bit to tease this person. Releasing pheromones was easier than holding it back. Who told this dog emperor to lie to him? Serves him right. Yeshu stretched his body in the water. Soon, he became drowsy. Jin Wang stood outside for a full 10 minutes in the cold wind before he finally calmed himself down. When he returned to the side chamber feeling refreshed, Yeshu had already fallen asleep in the water. The youth was lying on the edge of the bathtub, his black hair spread out and his head resting on his bare arms. He was already sleeping soundly. Jin Wang's heart immediately softened. Why was he angry with him? He was clearly the one who had let him down. He walked to the edge of the bathtub, then lowered his head and stroked Yeshu's hair. Ashu, go back to your room and sleep. Yeshu was still in a daze. He resisted by burying his face in his arms and said in a gentle and seductive voice. Don't be noisy. Jin Wang. This person was definitely doing this on purpose. Jin Wang scooped him up from the water. Yeshu was extremely obedient after falling asleep and allowed Jin Wang to move him as much as he liked. Jin Wang expended a great deal of self-control before he was finally able to help him put on his clothes, dry his hair and carry him back to his room. Jin Wang hugged Yeshu as he laid him down on the bed and tucked him in. Yeshu was half asleep and half awake from his antics and began to squirm about in his arms. Yeshu. Jin Wang's blood was boiling from Yeshu's rubbing and he restrained Yeshu's limbs. Don't move around anymore. Bastard Jin Wang. Yeshu's entire body was restrained and he couldn't move. He closed his eyes and scolded, You're really annoying. Jin Wang was already used to this person spouting nonsense after he fell asleep, so he laughed instead. I'm treating you so well, yet you're still annoyed. Can you be reasonable? Yeshu was unreasonable. You're just annoying. Jin Wang asked, How am I annoying? Yeshu was silent for a while, then he said in a low voice. I won't tell you. Think about it yourself. But Zhen can't think of anything. Jin Wang leaned closer and said in a soft voice, Ashu, how did I make you unhappy? You make me angry in every way. Yeshu rubbed his head against Jin Wang's chest and said vaguely. You're always lying to me. You don't treat me well at all. Dog Emperor. The smile on Jin Wang's face faded. When have I ever lied to you? Why should I tell you? Yeshu's voice gradually weakened. I'm not telling you. Yeshu's breathing gradually stabilized and he quickly fell asleep. Jin Wang pulled him into his arms and frowned slightly. Could it be that he had already guessed it? For the next few days, Yeshu obediently rested in his bedchamber. It was rare for him to be so obedient. Jin Wang also didn't bring up the previous matter with him again. On this day, when Yeshu woke up, Jin Wang had already gone to attend morning court. He was slowly finishing his breakfast when a eunuch announced that Imperial Physician Feng had arrived. After the previous incident, Imperial Physician Feng deeply felt that it wasn't easy for the Imperial consort to survive in the harem. After returning to the Imperial Hospital, he didn't close his eyes for several days. He worked day and night to prepare the medicine and today, he finally finished it. He couldn't wait any longer and immediately came to Yangzin Palace Hall under the pretext of examining the Imperial consort. Yeshu poured out a pill from the jade bottle and examined it with his fingertips. This is the abortion medicine. Yes. Imperial Physician Feng leaned closer and lowered his voice. This medicine dissolves in water and is colorless and tasteless. It can also be mixed in with food. I guarantee that it won't be discovered by anyone. Yeshu put the pill back into the bottle and said with a serious expression, I'll have to trouble the Imperial Physician. It's fine. It's fine as long as this official can help the young master. Imperial Physician Feng thought about it and said seriously, That's right, This medicine is extremely harmful to the body. It must not be consumed casually. Young master, please don't eat it by mistake. Of course, the imperial physician had to remind him not to eat it by mistake. After all, he was also pregnant. Yeshu played with the jade bottle in his hand, while his other hand unconsciously fell to his lower abdomen. No one knew what he was thinking. After a while, Yeshu smiled and said, "All right, I'll remember." Yeshu hid the pill well and said, "I hope that the imperial physician will keep today's matter a secret for the time being. You must not let His Majesty know about it." This official understands. Imperial physician Fen nodded in response. When he saw that Yeshu was about to get up to send him off, he hurriedly said, "Young master, please stay in bed and rest. This official can leave on his own." Yeshu was about to nod when he suddenly heard a voice from outside the door. A figure dressed in black and gold walked in with his entourage. There was a dangerous smile in his eyes as he asked, "What is it that you can't let Zhen know?" End chapter. Marked by a tyrant after transmigrating. Chapter 32. Yeshu was so frightened that he almost fell off the bed. Fortunately, Imperial Physician Fen was close to him and helped him up in time. Jin Wan quickly walked over and took Yeshu from him. "Be careful, are you all right?" "I'm fine." Yeshu shrunk back guiltily and grabbed Jin Wang's clothes. "Why did your Majesty come back so early today?" "There's nothing else to do today, so I left early." Jin Wang caressed Yeshu's hair and said, "Recently, you've been saying that you're bored in bed, so I wanted to come back early to accompany you." Who knew that when he walked to the door, he would hear this person telling someone not to tell him anything. Jin Wang had been the emperor for many years, and the most taboo thing was to keep a secret from him, especially when it came from this person's mouth. It was definitely not a good thing. Jin Wang thought of this and asked softly, "What were you and the imperial physician talking about just now?" "Yeshu, I." This emperor seemed to have heard it. "You told the imperial physician not to tell Zhen something." Jin Wang narrowed his eyes slightly and said in a calm and gentle voice, "What secret do you have with the imperial physician that you have to hide it from Zhen?" Yeshu did not dare to answer. Jin Wang tilted his head and looked at Imperial Physician Feng. "Why don't you tell Zhen then?" Imperial Physician Feng looked at Yeshu in Jin Wang's arms and also did not dare to speak. Jin Wang calmly said, "Do you know that the crime of deceiving the emperor is capital offense?" Imperial Physician Feng knelt on the ground. "Your Majesty, please calm down. It was all my idea, don't vent your anger on him." Yeshu grabbed Jin Wang's wrist. Jin Wang had not spoken to him in such a tone for a long time. Once he did, it meant that he was angry. And he was very angry. Jin Wang did not pay attention to him and continued to question Imperial Physician Feng. "Speak." There was a layer of cold sweat on Imperial Physician Feng's back. He looked at the attendant standing not far away and said in a low voice, "Can this official ask your Majesty to dismiss the attendants?" "No." Jin Wang sneered. "What is it that you have to hide from others?" Jin Wang's tone left no room for argument. "Just state here, right now." "This." Imperial Physician Feng looked very hesitant. Imperial concubine Anben was pregnant with someone else's child. How could this kind of thing be said in front of so many people? If this were to be revealed, where would His Majesty's face go? He definitely couldn't say it now. The atmosphere in the hall froze for a moment. Imperial Physician Feng didn't answer for a long time. Jin Wang's patience was getting exhausted. He ordered in a low voice, "Take him away and flog him 50 times. We'll talk after that." "Don't." Yeshu suddenly spoke up. "It's me who wants the imperial physician to prescribe the medicine." Jin Wang lowered his head and asked, "What kind of medicine?" Yeshu felt the other party's gaze on him. He gulped and said with difficulty, "This medicine is for His Majesty." Jin Wang. Imperial Physician Feng. All eyes in the room instantly gathered on Yeshu. Yeshu braced himself and said, "His Majesty hasn't touched this subject for a long time. This subject's heart can't bear it and can only use this method." Jin Wang was stunned. The group of attendants who followed him back to the palace were also stunned. They heard that His Majesty summoned his imperial consort every day. How could he not have touched him in Yangzin Palace Hall? Why would he need to have medicine for that? Could it be that His Majesty actually had that kind of hidden illness? Was arranging for the imperial consort to stay in Yangzin Palace Hall was also to prevent this matter from spreading? Imperial Physician Feng's expression was also blank. Could it be explained like this? As expected of Minister Yet. In the silence, Jin Wang was the first to regain his senses. After an Omega became pregnant, their needs would become extremely high. However, he hadn't been able to get to do that to him for the past 2 months. After enduring day and night, he finally couldn't help but ask the Imperial Physician. Imperial Physician Feng was under Jin Wang's orders and didn't dare to reveal the pregnancy. He could only reluctantly hide the truth and explain the situation as such. He couldn't be blamed for this. Jin Wang lowered his head and looked at Yeshu. The latter carefully grabbed his clothes. There was a look of grievance in his eyes, as if he was frightened by him. Jin Wang's heart softened when he saw his expression. He absent-mindedly blurted out, "Zhen is sorry to have wronged you." Yeshu. Imperial Physician Feng. All the attendants. After saying this, Jin Wang who felt that something was wrong. Jin Wang pressed the space between his eyebrows and ordered in a deep voice, "All of you can leave." Everyone hurriedly left Yangzin Palace Hall. Imperial Physician Feng was the last to leave. He couldn't help but take one last look at Yeshu. His Majesty sat down by the bed and gently pulled him into his arms. As expected of Minister Yet. In this way, it wouldn't be a problem to get Imperial concubine and Ben to have an abortion without anyone else knowing. Even after Imperial Physician Feng left, he still hadn't recovered from what had just happened. When someone beside him asked him about it, he didn't even listen and just casually nodded his head. After that, he turned around and slowly left Yangzin Palace Hall under everyone's unreadable gazes, hiding his achievements and fame. Inside the room, Jin Wang took a cushion and placed it behind Yeshu's waist. He then helped him lie down. Yeshu grabbed the blanket and wrapped himself in it. He stared at Jin Wang without saying a word. He had been recuperating in bed for the past few days. His complexion was much better than before and his face was also much rounder. He looked adorable. The two of them looked at each other in silence. The atmosphere was a little ambiguous. Jin Wang coughed softly and stroked Yeshu's hair. "I've wronged you during this period of time. But there was a reason for that. It's not what you think." Yeshu had the abortion medicine in his hands but he pretended to be aggrieved. "Then why? Is your Majesty no longer interested in this subject?" Jin Wang immediately replied, "That's not it." Yeshu touched the bottle of abortion medicine through his clothes. "I advise you to think carefully before you speak." Yeshu thought expressionlessly. Jin Wang looked down at him and said seriously, "Ashu, my feelings for you have never been spur of the moment." Yeshu's eyes flickered. "It's all because of how I treated you before. Now you don't even dare to believe me." He stroked Yeshu's hair and sighed, "Ashu, no matter what misunderstandings we have, I will never lie to you about this matter." Yeshu tilted his head and looked away, asking in a small voice, Then are you lying to me about something else?" Jin Wang stared at him and didn't hide anything. "Yes." Yeshu subconsciously tightened his grip on the quilt, feeling inexplicably nervous. "What is it?" Jin Wang fell silent. This time, he took a longer time to think. After a while, Jin Wang said, "I can't tell you right now." Yeshu immediately became angry. "Then when are you intending to tell me?" Was he going to lie to him until he gave birth to the child? Ashu, I don't want to continue lying to you, but now is indeed not the time to talk about this. Jin Wang said, tomorrow, the great Yan's envoys will enter the capital. No matter what, I hope you can give me some more time. For the past few days, Jin Wang had been considering whether to tell Yeshu about this matter, but he couldn't make up his mind and couldn't find an opportunity to do so. Unfortunately, the foreign envoys were entering the capital. The arrival of the foreign envoys was when the situation in the capital was at its most chaotic. He couldn't afford to let this person cause any trouble. Jin Wang closed his eyes and said in a low voice, "Give me a few more days, I will definitely tell you everything. At that time, I will be at your disposal. No matter what decision you make, I will not oppose it." He stared straight into Yeshu's eyes, his expression serious. His facial features were accentuated by his black and gold robes. Yeshu suddenly didn't want to force him anymore. He sighed and compromised, "All right, then I will give you 7 more days." The pup had been in his stomach for so long, 7 more days wouldn't make a difference. "If you don't tell me the truth after 7 days, then you can just wait to say goodbye to your pup." Jin Wang nodded, "All right, 7 days it is." There was still some time before lunch. Yeshu stretched his body and wanted to catch up on some sleep, but he saw that Jin Wang was still sitting by the bed, staring at him. Yeshu asked, "Your Majesty isn't busy today? Why are you sitting here looking at me instead of taking care of business?" Jin Wang smiled and pinched Yeshu's cheek, "If I were to leave now, what would you do?" "Yeshu." Jin Wang lifted Yeshu's blanket and leaned over to pull him into his embrace. He kissed the side of Yeshu's ear, "I haven't touched you these past few days. Do you miss me?" Yeshu's body stiffened and he reached out to push him away, "No, no. Why are you still so shy in front of me? If you didn't miss me, why did you ask the imperial physician about those things?" As Jin Wang spoke, his fingers slowly slid across Yeshu's waist. Yeshu's entire body trembled and his knees immediately went limp. Recently, he had been overly sensitive and couldn't stand being touched by this person. Yeshu loosened his grip and was soon half pushed and half pressed into the bed. Jin Wang was just about to undo his clothes when he accidentally touched something hard. He reached into Yeshu's clothes and took out a jade bottle. "What is this?" Yeshu was still in a state of haze from Jin Wang's actions. When he heard this, he opened his eyes in a daze and was immediately shocked awake. He instinctively tried to snatch the jade bottle, but Jin Wang nimbly dodged it. He could only grit his teeth and say, It was given by the imperial physician. The imperial physician gave this." Jin Wang nodded in understanding, "This is the drug you wanted to give me." "Yeshu." Jin Wang wasn't angry. Instead, he felt that Yeshu was really cute. "I haven't touched him for a few days and he can't help but want to drug me. This little idiot." Jin Wang poured out the brown pill and played with it between his fingers. He tilted his head and asked, "Do you want me to eat it?" It seemed that as long as Yeshu nodded his head, he would immediately eat it. "Yeshu. If you have the ability, then eat it. If you don't, then you're Awang." Yeshu looked at him expressionlessly, but Jin Wang only casually put the pill back and threw the jade bottle off the bed. "Little idiot, I don't need this." Jin Wang pressed him back onto the bed and whispered in his ear, "Whether I can do it or not, you know best in your heart, don't you? If you really eat the drug, the one who wouldn't be able to handle it is you." End chapter. Marked by a tyrant after transmigrating. Chapter 33. Less than an hour later, Jin Wang carried Yeshu, who had just finished bathing, back to the bedchamber. Yeshu sank into the soft bed, so tired that he didn't even want to move a finger. Jin Wang lowered his head to kiss him, but Yeshu frowned and dodged. "Go away." Yeshu's voice was still a little hoarse and lethargic. He didn't have much energy left. Jin Wang pinched his earlobe and coaxed softly, "Bear with it a little more. Be good." Yeshu glared at him in return. It wasn't that His Majesty wasn't good at it. On the contrary, he was too good at it. But no matter how good he was, it was useless right now. Yeshu was less than 3 months pregnant. Without the imperial physician's approval, he didn't dare to cross the line. Whether it was kissing, hugging, or comforting him, they were all just scratching an itch. After a short period of relief, he felt even more unbearable and unsatisfied. The more Yeshu thought about it, the angrier he got. He was angry at himself for being so unsatisfied, but he was also angry at the main culprit who made him like this. He rolled over and covered himself with the blanket, leaving only the soft back of his head exposed. Jin Wang helplessly said, "I'll go take care of government affairs first. Lie down for a while longer. Remember to eat lunch on time." Yeshu originally didn't want to bother with him, but he felt that he was standing in front of the bed and watching him. Only then did he mutter, "Got it?" Jin Wang smiled and lowered his head to kiss Yeshu's hair, then left the bedchamber. Yeshu waited until the door to the bedchamber closed before he rolled over and got out of bed. He knelt beside the bed and bent over to feel around under the bed. After a while, he found the jade bottle that Jin Wang had casually thrown off the bed. He couldn't afford to lose it. Yeshu patrolled around the room, then finally placed the medicine behind the bookshelf and hid it safely. After doing all this, Yeshu clapped his hands and looked down at his lower abdomen. "It's all your fault." Yeshu whispered, "You'd better behave yourself for the next few days. If you continue to torment your father, you might lose your life. The cub who could die at any moment." At noon the next day, the envoys from Great Yan arrived at the capital. His Majesty led the officials to the city gate to welcome the envoy. Then, he settled the envoy in the palace and waited for the state banquet in the evening to formally welcome the envoy. Yeshu did not go to the city gate. In fact, by the time he woke up, the envoys were already in the same building that His Majesty had given to the foreign guests. Jin Wang did not call him at all. The emperor was busy entertaining the envoys today and did not have time to return to the palace to have a meal with Yeshu. Yeshu slowly finished his lunch, and the chamberlain delivered the clothes for the banquet. It was a black and red court robe. The material used in the dress was of the highest quality, and there were phoenix patterns on it. The design was exquisite but not ostentatious. It was very similar to the one Jin Wang was used to wearing. The emperor of Changlu wore black and gold, and only the empress could wear black and red. Jin Wang said that he would attend the state banquet as the empress, and he was true to his words. Although he did not have the status, his position was no different from that of the empress. The chamberlain who came to deliver the clothes was still relaying Jin Wang's instructions. His Majesty said that young master can sleep a little longer. You just have to arrive at Taiji Palace before the banquet starts. In addition, the envoy from Great Yan is the second prince of Yan Kingdom. Wait. Yeshu frowned and asked, "The second prince of Yan Kingdom, Yu Yan?" The chamberlain, "Yes. No. In the novel, the one who came to Changlu was a relative of the Great Yan royal family and a diplomatic envoy, not this second prince. Great Yan's second prince, Yu Yan." Yeshu was not unfamiliar with this name. He was the future monarch of Great Yan. This person's situation was very similar to Jin Wang's when he was young. When Yu Yan was young, his mother was wrongly accused and was sentenced to death by the Empress of Yan Kingdom. He was even sent to be raised by the Empress, who killed his mother. Years of hatred made him hate Great Yan's royal family to the bone. When Changlu destroyed West Xia and turned to attack Great Yan, Jin Wang took advantage of his hatred for the royal family and made an agreement with him. Using this as a breakthrough point, they beat Yan Kingdom until they were forced to retreat. In the midst of Yan Kingdom's internal and external troubles, Yu Yan, who had endured humiliation for many years, took the opportunity to seize power and voluntarily bowed his head to Changlu, ending the years of war between the two kingdoms. In the end, he and Jin Wang got along well and became best friends. According to the progress of the novel, this person would only appear in the second half of the plot. Now that he came to Changlu, was there going to be some kind of trouble? Yeshu felt inexplicably uneasy. Night quickly fell. Inside Taiji Palace, there was singing and dancing. The emperor, dressed in a black and gold court robe, sat on the main seat. The courtiers sat on both sides of the palace according to their ranks. At the front, near the emperor, sat a few envoys from Great Yan. Among them, Great Yan's second prince, Yu Yan, sat closest to the emperor. Great Yan's second prince was about the same age as Jin Wang. He was dressed in a dark purple robe, and his facial features were elegant and handsome. At first glance, one could feel that he had an extraordinary bearing. From time to time, the two of them would tilt their heads and chat. They looked like they were having a good time. But, that was all. The emperor still did not announce the start of the banquet. Facing the empty table, the crowd did not dare to ask or urge them. They could only continue to enjoy the singing and dancing. Behind Jin Wang, Gao Jing could not stand it anymore. He reminded in a low voice, "Your Majesty, it's time to start the banquet." Jin Wang said indifferently, "There's no hurry. Let's wait a little longer. My little imperial consort have not arrived yet." After saying that, he smiled and looked at Great Yan's second prince, "There's no need to be so reserved. Have some tea first." Yu Yan. "Thank you, Your Majesty." Yu Yan's actions were elegant. He had a smile on his face, but he only raised his cup and did not drink. If he drank any more, he would be full. His Highness, the second prince, felt a little tired. After another song and dance ended, the eunuch in attendant finally announced that the imperial concubine had arrived. Jin Wang looked out of the hall. A young man dressed in black and red court robes slowly walked into the hall. The moment he appeared, the entire Taiji palace fell silent. Yeshu was not wearing a veil. For the past 2 months, Yeshu had been staying in the imperial harem and had rarely seen outsiders. The only time he had followed Jin Wang to the ancestral shrine, he had also covered his face with a white veil so that no one could see his face. Thus, when the officials saw his face, they were all stunned. Wasn't this person Minister Ye? But didn't Minister Ye already? For a moment, all eyes were focused on Yeshu. However, the latter did not seem to notice. He walked to the center of the hall and did not kneel. Instead, he stood and bowed, "Greetings, Your Majesty." He looked up at Jin Wang, who was sitting upright on the dragon throne. Their eyes met for a moment. Jin Wang said warmly, "My beloved imperial consort has finally arrived. Come up quickly." Yeshu replied, "Yes, Your Majesty." Yeshu walked forward. Gao Jin was about to instruct the eunuchs to add a chair when His Majesty suddenly stood up and led him over to sit next to him. "Gao Jin." "All right then." When Yeshu sat down, Jin Wang tilted his head and ordered, "Begin the banquet." Dozens of eunuchs filed in and placed exquisite dishes on the table in front of everyone. But no one cared about that. Everyone had yet to recover from the shock. This person clearly looked like Minister Ye. Why was he the imperial consort? Why did the imperial consort look exactly like Minister Ye? The officials were all in a daze. Jin Wang tilted his head and whispered into Yeshu's ear, "You did it on purpose, right?" Yeshu played dumb. "Your Majesty, what are you talking about? This official does not understand." Jin Wang did not get angry. He raised his hand and pinched Yeshu's face. "What do you want me to say now? That Minister Ye was not fated to die and was accidentally reborn? Or that I still have feelings for Minister Ye and found a similar looking substitute?" Yeshu began to seriously think about it. The rebirth script and the substitution script. Both sounded good. Yeshu did not intentionally cause trouble for Jin Wang. However, he was here to eat. How could he eat while wearing a veil? Furthermore, it was not proper to cover one's face with a white veil at a state banquet. Jin Wang did not allow him to disguise himself at the banquet, which meant that he was tacitly allowing him to show his true face. As for how he would clear up the aftermath, he did not need to worry about it. Yeshu said, "Your Majesty can decide for yourself. This official is very hungry. Can we eat now?" At a state banquet, if the monarch did not start eating, no one would dare to eat. Jin Wang chuckled. "If you're hungry, why did you come so late?" Yeshu looked at him resentfully. "Isn't this all your fault?" It wasn't like this person did not know that he usually sleep for a long time and had even specifically instructed the palace servants not to wake him up. However, by the time Yeshu woke up, the sky was already dark and he had to rush over. "I wanted you to sleep a little longer." Jin Wang picked up a piece of lightly seasoned fish and placed it in Yeshu's bowl. "Hurry and eat." No matter how suspicious the officials were, they did not dare to ask questions at this time. They could only reluctantly follow suit. The ceremonial music started and the banquet continued. Yeshu rarely cared about what the officials thought of him and only focused on eating. During the meal, he occasionally raised his head and met an unfamiliar gaze. It was Yu Yan. Ever since he entered the palace, Yu Yan had been sizing him up from time to time with a pensive look on his face. Now that he had been discovered, Yu Yan did not seem embarrassed at all. Instead, he smiled calmly at Yeshu. "Yeshu, what's wrong with this person?" Without waiting for him to react, a hand was placed on his waist and pinched it gently. "What are you looking at, my dear consort?" Yeshu retracted his gaze. "Nothing. But I saw it." Jin Wang lowered his voice and the smell of vinegar hit him in the face. "You're right next to me, yet you're looking at another man." "Yeshu. Absolutely not. Your Majesty." Someone suddenly called out from beside them. The two looked over. Yu Yan stood up from his seat and raised his wine cup. "I've long heard that your Majesty returned with a beauty 2 months ago. Seeing you today, the imperial consort's appearance is indeed extraordinary. This one has specially brought wine from the Great Yan to toast your Majesty and the imperial concubine. This prince wishes the two of you a long and unswerving love." As soon as Yu Yan finished speaking, an attendant immediately came forward to pour wine for the two of them. Jin Wang had a smile on his face and did not stop him. But the hand that was placed on Yeshu's waist rubbed it threateningly. Yeshu shuddered and stammered, I don't know how to drink wine." Yu Yan did not back down. "This wine is brewed using an ancient method and is unique only to the Great Yan's imperial family. Imperial consort, are you unwilling to give me face?" 2 cups of wine were placed in front of Yeshu. He felt a little dizzy just smelling the wine and insisted, "I really don't know how to." As he spoke, he turned his head to look at Jin Wang for help. The latter finally smiled with satisfaction and patted his back to comfort him. "My dear consort really doesn't know how to drink wine. If he drinks this cup, Zhen is afraid he'll have to return to the inner palace lying down." Jin Wang raised the wine cup in front of Yeshu. "Zhen will drink on his behalf." Without waiting for Yu Yan to reply, he raised his head and drank the wine in one gulp. He did the same with the other cup. Jin Wang put down the wine cup and asked, "Would you like another toast?" "Yu Yan." The second prince of Yan didn't manage to get anything out of it. He drank the wine in silence and returned to his seat. During the entire banquet, he didn't dare to speak to Yeshu again. When the banquet was about to end, Yeshu left Taiji Palace to get some fresh air. The imperial sedan was already waiting outside the palace. Yeshu was still a little dizzy as he was helped into the imperial carriage by the eunuchs. As someone who could get drunk just by smelling wine, it was too difficult for him to attend the entire banquet. Yeshu wrapped himself in a blanket and leaned against the imperial sedan drowsily. Suddenly, a voice came from outside the sedan. "Yu Yan greets the imperial consort." Yeshu lifted the curtains. Yu Yan stood not far away and bowed to Yeshu. What kind of illness did this person have? Yeshu controlled his temper and asked, is there something the second prince wants to talk to me about? Yu Yan said, the imperial concubine and I hit it off at first sight. May I have a word with you? Yeshu, no. We didn't hit it off at first sight. His Majesty's vinegar jar was about to explode. How could he dare to talk to this person alone? Yu Yan didn't get angry and said unhurriedly, then does the imperial consort know a person called Qi Xian? Yeshu. Of course he knew of him. In order to hide his identity, the original owner had always used the alias Qi Xian when communicating with the outside world. The Great Yan had contact with the original owner? Yeshu was suspicious and was about to ask again when he saw a figure from the corner of his eye. First of all, I don't know the person you're talking about. Yeshu quickly sat up straight and cleared his throat. He said seriously, secondly, I am the imperial consort and you are a foreign prince. We should avoid suspicion. There's nothing to talk about. Second prince, please go back. Yu Yan. Before Yu Yan could react, a low voice came from behind him. What are the second prince and my imperial consort talking about? Let Zhen hear it. End chapter.